Yeah, I got a haircut if you didn't already notice. Follow my IG to stay tuned on things like that. There's two categories of people who visit America for the first time. The first category is people who love it, checking out the skyline of LA, relaxing in Miami Beach and hoping not to get attacked by a fence zombie, being enamored by Times Square for the first time and thinking how many movies you've seen it just to see it now. And the second category of people is people who love it. What you thought I was gonna say, people who hate it? USA on top. In the past couple of years, the US has been suffering what I like to call massive aura depletion. The best way I can describe it is a lot of the world looked at the US as Superman, standing up for the little guy and helping just causes. And now we're just looked at like Homelander. At least in the past, the US wasn't moving like Homelander, but we still had that Superman aura people felt from other countries because movies and stuff. One of the main things that always changes people's perspectives is actually stepping down in a city for the first time. A lot of people from different countries take in the US based on one perspective, and that's Hollywood. Now, it's gotten a little more better with social media and people can look at it closer. And some Americans might think that's kind of crazy and there's no way that's how people look at America. Tell me how you looked at Paris when you were younger though. Because of movies, Paris seemed like a place that no country could match and no wrong could be done. You'd step off the plane and start floating to the smell of crepes being made next to the Eiffel Tower, take your significant other on a boat trip through the city, and all while the city was clean and filled with a beautiful vibrance. But now you search up any person reviewing their first time in Paris, and they say the smells of the street almost took them out on the first day.
That I noticed when I got out of the taxi was that the entire city of Paris seemed to smell. And yeah, obviously every place is going to have their own specific kind of fragrance, but here it's just kind of bad. Like, we get out of the taxi, and the first thing that I notice is that everything seems to kind of smell like a porta potty in summer, where the smell has just diffused over the general area.
Love Paris, but let me tell y'all something. A could walk past you, and you could almost pass the... Oh, like, why? Why do y'all smell like this, man?
Not even mentioning the rat problem they have too there, that's only getting worse. Paris is pretty much the New York City of Europe. And all of the major American cities have suffered aura depletion like how Paris has. As soon as you step down in Times Square, you're thinking you're gonna see beautiful, vibrant lights with people all giddy, happy, and waving at each other. Meanwhile, you can't even hear who you came with because cars are always honking. A rat comes up and steals your phone while you're not looking. A homeless man on Fent tries to box you for no reason. And if you have TikTok, that's probably all you see up until traveling. I remember before going to Japan, my algorithm started showing different places I could go to and see there. And occasionally I'd see TikToks of people telling me of which places not to go. Mainly the sketchy
female accommodation spots, if you get my drift.
Because age checks might be iffy and also they're known for scamming. They probably still get crazy business from all the gooners in Japan who travel there just for that. A lot of people from different countries are for the first time seeing the bad parts of these cities. Especially when it's a POV from a direct person, it feels more personal to you. I truly don't think people visiting New York or LA around the world expect to see fence zombies or homeless encampments on the street. I'd probably be more mad if I came from a country with good travel infrastructure just to come here and have to spend half my budget on Ubers to get places. And when I say all this, people may think I'm saying no one wants to visit anymore now that the truth is out, tourism is done for. But no, these cities and places will still be some of the most visited places for tourists on earth. However, I do think it would change people's perspectives on how much they'd want to visit. Like for me with Paris, call me a sheep, but all that hype in TV shows and movies of it, just for people to complain about it all the time now, has kind of put it down on my list. I would still visit eventually, but I feel that's how people would do it, just put it lower on their list. And there will be some people who say altogether they might as well save up their money and skip it and go to a different place. I think something they'd actually be more scared of seeing in LA or New York more than a homeless fence zombie is ICE taking them off the street for not having their passport on them, then putting them on the next plane to El Salvador to survive in that prison. I feel like the only people shocked US tourism has gone down this year is MAGA and the Trump administration. Let's say, for example, even if you believe someone who's been here illegally for 10 or 20 years should be deported and it doesn't matter how long they've been here, how do you think it looks for people wanting to visit the country that people are getting snatched up in broad daylight by dudes who are wearing full-on ski masks, and these are talking about terrorists are coming while cosplaying the exact they wear? If I'm in another country seeing these clips, I'm genuinely not coming for the next 4 years until it's over. I'm not risking it. Which obviously does affect our economy and makes it worse. I can't blame them though. If there was any country moving like this that I was gonna visit, it's immediately off my list of going. And the World Cup is right around the corner, so I'm not sure how that's about to go. They say allegedly ICE is gonna be at the games, which of course you have to be. I'm sure that will be totally inviting to tourists and they'll feel safe to come and boost the economy. It would be so funny if it ended up being the lowest sales for a World Cup in recent times, and that's the legacy left by this administration. Another part of the American aura too was that people from around the world felt like they could come to America and work their way up to eventually experience the American dream, done nowhere else but here. And now that's dead for them because they know you got a better chance of winning the lottery than getting a visa in America in 2025. Unless your ass is the next Einstein or can pay $5 million to get that gold card, then yeah, just go ahead and look at another country. I actually wonder how many visas have been given out this year because it can't be much. If it was already hard before, I can only imagine now. And to be fair, basically in every Western country, the housing markets are cooked. I be thinking the US is bad, then I look how much Canada's houses cost, and I'm like, damn, well, we got it better somehow. But that core idea to people of America being the perfect place to work your way up to get a house is way down. They probably wouldn't even want to come to because the amount of shootings they see nowadays. I think some Americans underestimate how scared people are of the thought of guns. If you come from a country where they're completely banned and the loudest pop you'll hear is fireworks on a holiday, it's gonna scare you thinking that pop you hear in America might be someone trying to mow down a crowd. There's videos of people at public events now, a couple of balloons pop and everybody starts running thinking gunshots went off. The fear is getting worse and worse every day because you never know with people when something could happen. And the school ones have only gotten worse. Back when Aura was up, people weren't scared as much because it wasn't happening as frequent. And now, like every other day, there's some kid who got radicalized online shooting up his school, with mass shootings also happening at random public events a couple times a month. It used to be like 1 or 2 big ones a year and people would talk about how tragic it is and how we can improve. And now when it happens, it just turns into a political catfight with nothing getting fixed. People try to research the person's race, sexuality, political party, whatever they can to blame the other side. I kid you not, it ends up not even being about the victims anymore. It's just about who did it and what their ideology was. Instead of, hey, this person was crazy, what can we do to help move things forward and do better? Imagine you're someone trying to move here and have kids. The thought of some random psychopath taking them out in class is definitely gonna deter you. Even when my parents moved here, they didn't have to worry about that probably until I was in middle school when it started to ramp up. The biggest thing recently on the world stage that has put our aura numbers in the gutter is not even us, it's our quote-unquote greatest ally. Not sure what ally could take $300 billion and still be called an ally. That's more like a charity patient at a hospital. The whole world being against what Israel was doing, except America took all that freedom aura to the bottom. Every time the world had a vote to stop the conflict, it was only one hand up to keep it going, and it was the US. In these moments, America is like that kid in class who reminds the teacher about the homework, and everyone in the class is pissed that they ruined the vibe. I just know these people are pissed around this round table. They probably got the craziest group chat rows going on, leaving out us. Like, I want to be in the group chat too. Come on, guys, this wasn't my choice. The worst part about it too is most Americans agree with the world. I fully believe if you had a countrywide vote right now, if Americans wanted to cut off Israel and stop sending money, it would be about the only thing that would pass in every single state. But when our politicians are running things, we can only do so much. Bro, there is literally people in government not even trying to hide their allegiance to it anymore. Before it was more hidden and just donations from AIPAC. And now that it's so widely exposed, I guess they think, it, what's the point of hiding it?
Through it. And I'm always going to vote whatever supports Israel, you know, military, financial, intelligence, whatever that is. And I'm always going to vote whatever supports Israel.
The pride of being able to be here and do work that facilitates making things better for people. And in the greatest country on earth, next to Israel.
Like, why are these just allowed to say this openly and not get questioned for foreign influence? If this was any other person talking about any other country, they would have been already booted out by now. It's crazy because damn near every politician you look at now has some type of dono from it. They have whole websites just to track the politicians who take money. Some of them are crazy amounts, like our own president or who would have been president had she won. But then some of them you look at it like, you seriously sold out for this little? There are politicians who have taken only 20 grand or 30 grand. Some of them take less than their literal government salary. Meanwhile, they pass bills in their state to send 1,000 times the funding of that to 2,000 times to Israel. And truth, y'all, this isn't gonna get fixed anytime soon. As long as our average public officials are at the age where they're supposed to be in retirement homes, then it's staying. But I'm predicting within the next 5 to 10 years, there's gonna be a shift on it and it's gonna be major. Once Gen Z and millennials take over, all I know is that is cooked. It's game over. Which is why I have the theory that they're trying to siphon out as much as possible before it stops working. Within the next 10 or 20 years, the method will be patched. People over there are going to be real mad once their universal healthcare goes away when we stop sending money. And we can finally focus on spending money on the right things here. like a Trump hotel next to the White House. If you ask people from other countries now how they view America, they'll all say it's one big giant TV show and laughing at the chaos, which I don't even blame them. That's how you gotta take things. It also doesn't help that for the past year, we've cut off all the people we had connections with. The reason why a lot of people from different countries liked America is usually the connection it had with their country too. It's kind of like having a neighbor that every once in a while y'all chop it up together and talk about how things are going. But now it's like that neighbor's turned into that neighbor no one wants, where they complain about everything happening at your house. Your grass doesn't comply with HOA regulations, so cut it down or they're calling the cops to find you. Your fence has a dark spot, so you need to fix it or they're snitching. They're constantly talking behind your back even though you thought y'all were cool. And I know people will say, well, Tommy, what's wrong with criticizing your neighbor for things they may be doing wrong? Yeah, there's one thing criticizing and coming to a solution together versus doing whatever the this is.
I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell.
Your countries are going to hell.
If I'm in another country, why would I even have a sliver of a good look of yours when you're talking like this? I'm not even gonna want to be associated with your ass and look for someone else to work with. The best thing you could do to boost a country and people's morale is having them have a common enemy. And every country is pretty much facing this boost because the US looks like the bully trying to fight everyone at once. Even when you think of the times Americans were the most together, it was things like after 9/11 or World War II where a common enemy was fought. Saying all this, even though our aura levels are taken every day, I truly believe in this country and that we'll get over it. But at least I hope. I got a couple more decades to be God gracefully living, so if it's still not looking good later, I might have to prepare a bunker and get ready. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, I love you guys consensually. And until next time, I'm out.